Welcome to Smart Updates, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an update. Everybody is looking for control over the South China Sea. The South China Sea is one of the world's most strategic waterways, connecting China, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, the Philippines, and Taiwan. It's a vital artery for global trade. Trillions of dollars in goods, from electronics to oil, pass through its lanes every year. The region's stability is crucial for the global economy. Beneath its waters lie vast reserves of oil and natural gas, resources that are highly coveted by neighboring countries. The sea also boasts some of the world's richest fishing grounds, supporting millions of livelihoods. This abundance of resources makes the South China Sea a hotspot for competition and conflict. Control over these waters means not just economic gain, but also military and geopolitical power. The country that dominates the sea can project influence far beyond its shores. For centuries, great powers have vied for control here. Today, the stakes are higher than ever. Freedom of navigation is a principle many nations are willing to defend, making the area a potential flashpoint. Multiple countries claim overlapping parts of the sea, leading to ongoing disputes. China's sweeping 9-line claim covers almost the entire sea, clashing with the internationally recognized zones of its neighbors. The Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei all assert their own claims under international law. These disputes have fueled decades of tension and risk of conflict. The South China Sea is both a vital resource and a zone of deep disagreement. The Philippines and China are locked in a high-stakes dispute over the South China Sea, or the West Philippine Sea as Manila calls it. The Philippines claims these waters as part of its exclusive economic zone, granting rights to resources within 200 nautical miles of its coast. China, however, asserts sweeping claims based on its 9-line, overlapping with the Philippines' maritime zone. Tensions play out on the water. Chinese Coast Guard and militia vessels routinely operate in Philippine-claimed areas, harassing local fishermen and blocking access to key fishing grounds. Incidents have escalated, with Chinese ships using water cannons against Philippine supply boats headed to outposts like the BRP Sierra Madre. In 2016, the Philippines won a landmark legal victory at an international tribunal in The Hague, which ruled China's 9-line had no legal basis under UNCLOS. The ruling affirmed the Philippines' rights, but China rejected it outright and intensified its activities. Manila's diplomatic protests have had little effect, leaving the Philippines feeling increasingly vulnerable. The risk of miscalculation or accident grows with every encounter at sea. Frustrated by China's defiance and the limits of diplomacy, the Philippines is searching for new ways to defend its sovereignty. This sense of urgency is driving the push for a new security coalition. The idea, unite with like-minded nations to deter aggression and uphold international law. The Philippines recognizes that standing alone is no longer an option. The stakes are national security, economic survival, and regional stability. The search for stronger partners has never been more critical. Facing mounting pressure from China, the Philippines is rethinking its security strategy. The answer: a new coalition, informally called the Squad, uniting middle-power nations to defend the South China Sea. The goal isn't aggression, but collective security. Joint patrols, shared intelligence, and a visible presence to deter coercion. By working together, these countries amplify their voice and strength. The Squad's mission: uphold international law, ensure freedom of navigation, and resolve disputes peacefully. Joint patrols would monitor the sea, document illegal actions, and show unity. This marks a major shift from past attempts at bilateral diplomacy with China. The Philippines is now seeking strength in numbers, determined to protect its interests and rally its neighbors. The Squad is a bold step toward a more secure and stable region. The Squad's success hinges on who joins. The Philippines is courting partners with shared interests. Top candidates include the United States, Japan, and Australia, all with strong security ties and a stake in regional stability. These countries have already increased cooperation with Manila and support the 2016 tribunal ruling. Vietnam, facing similar disputes with China, is a natural partner. Malaysia and Indonesia, wary of Chinese incursions, could also join, making the group truly regional. European powers like the UK, France, and Germany have shown interest by sending naval vessels to the Indo-Pacific. India, concerned about China's influence, is another potential partner. But joining the Squad isn't easy. Each country balances security needs with economic ties to China. Some may hesitate, fearing Beijing's retaliation. The Philippines must frame the Squad as a defensive, law-based coalition, not an anti-China bloc. The final lineup will reflect a delicate balance of shared security interests and economic realities. Building a credible, united front is the challenge. The world is watching to see who steps up. The Squad's core strategy is joint maritime patrols, multiple nations' ships sailing together in contested waters. This collective presence raises the stakes for any aggressive action, making it riskier for China to target a single country. Joint patrols enhance surveillance, track illegal activities, and provide real-time intelligence to all members. Larger partners like the US and Japan can help train and equip smaller navies, boosting regional capabilities. Regular exercises build trust and interoperability, making the coalition more effective. The Squad's patrols are a visible reminder that the South China Sea is governed by international law, not unilateral claims. The goal isn't confrontation, but to normalize lawful, multinational operations in the region. This presence deters aggression and supports a stable, rules-based order. Over time, it could shift the balance of power and expectations in the South China Sea. The message no single country owns these waters. The Squad directly challenges China's strategy of dealing with neighbors one-on-one. A united front makes it harder for Beijing to intimidate or divide smaller states. Regular joint patrols disrupt China's efforts to assert control and increase the diplomatic cost of aggressive actions. China may respond with military posturing or economic pressure, and will likely denounce the Squad as a tool of US containment. Yet, the risk of escalation with a coalition, including the US, could make China more cautious. The Squad could force Beijing to moderate its behavior and rely more on diplomacy. This new balance of power may constrain China's ambitions and protect the rights of smaller states. The region's future could hinge on how China responds to this collective pushback. The US is the Philippines' only formal treaty ally and a cornerstone of the Squad. Its military power and intelligence capabilities are unmatched, making American involvement a major deterrent. The US can rally international support and legitimize the Squad's mission as defending the rules-based order, but deep US involvement risks fueling China's narrative that the Squad is just an American tool. Some regional partners may be wary of being caught in US-China rivalry. For the Squad to succeed, it must be seen as a genuinely multilateral effort with the US supporting, not dominating the group. Washington's challenge: empower allies, avoid escalation, and let regional states lead. A balanced US role can help build a resilient, independent security architecture in the Indo-Pacific. The Squad faces major challenges. Unity is fragile, members have different interests and deep economic ties to China. Beijing may exploit these divisions with incentives or threats. Joint patrols require seamless coordination, shared intelligence, and compatible equipment. A steep learning curve for some. The risk of accidental clashes with China is real. Clear rules and crisis communication are essential. Political will is another hurdle. Future governments could shift priorities or seek accommodation with China. The Squad's mission must be institutionalized and seen as vital by the public in each country. Without sustained commitment, the coalition could unravel. Success depends on trust, training, and a shared sense of purpose. Look, the stakes, regional security, and the credibility of collective action. The Squad marks a turning point in the South China Sea saga. It's a shift from isolated protests to collective security action. The next steps, formalizing the group, defining its mission, and expanding membership, are critical. Expect more joint patrols and exercises and a strong response from China. Tensions may rise before stability is achieved. If the Squad endures, it could deter coercion and create space for peaceful dispute resolution. Success would reinforce the principle that international law, not might, determines rights. The outcome will shape the region's future and set a precedent for global maritime disputes. The story of the Squad is about smaller nations taking control of their destiny. The world is watching to see if collective action can bring lasting peace to these contested waters.